Hi, I'm Sherry from Super Exhausted, and today I'm going to show you how to make a pillowcase using a yard of fabric. We have a quarter yard of the header and 3/4 of the body fabric. These are really great to use for gifts. You can wrap gifts in them at Christmas time or for a slumber party if you're having a slumber party for your girls' friends. These are a really easy beginner project to make. So the first thing you're going to do is lay your header fabric down on the table. Okay? Correct side up. So the printed side or the fuzzy side, correct fabric out, right side's up. You're going to take your body fabric. Now, you want your body fabric so that if it was a pillowcase, it'd be facing down. You're going to take your body fabric. Actually, let me do something real quick before we do this. We're going to cut off this little white edge because that way it's out of our way. So you can take your scissors or cut it off, but take your white edge off so it's easier to deal with later on. You're going to take your body fabric, you're going to lay it down right sides to right sides, like that, and you're going to roll your body fabric up into the middle of your header, just like that, as you can see. Okay, you're going to try to line up edges somewhat. And you're going to make sure this edge matches. Then you're going to take this other piece and you're going to sandwich the roll in between the header. And you're going to meet both sides of the header fabric. Remember, so the wrong side will be out. Like this. And you're going to pin it all the way up. Like that. Okay, so you're going to start sewing at the edge. You go backwards and forwards, which is a back tack, and you're going to sew all the way down the edge of the fabric, removing the pins as you go. Do not sew over your pins. So as you can see, I sewed down the one side, and the roll is stuck inside. So we're going to pull the roll out of the header like this. And what it does, while you pull it out, takes a little bit, use that muscle. It clean finishes the header, like so. So the body fabric is clean finished. See? No seam. Now we're just going to run a stitch right down here to secure the header and give it an extra stitch. Okay, back tacking again and just sewing along the edge to make it secure. So we put that stitch in, as you can see, goes through both layers, so that it just gives it a double extra strength there. And then we're going to cut off this little edge so that there's not excess, like that. Now, we have right sides out, not in, and we're going to sew this right along the edge here, and what we're going to do is make a French seam. Okay, so with a pillowcase, should be right sides out, and we're going to sew a stitch here, which will later be encased inside another stitch, so then there's no raw edges on your fabric. Let me show you. Back tacking again at the beginning, you're just going to sew right along the very, very edge. You want to make sure you get both sides of the fabric, but very clean right along the edge. Okay, so I sewed along the very edge like that, as you can see. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just take that seam down a little close as I can get it to the edge of the actual stitch. Like that. And that is because when you're doing a French seam, the less you have in between, the better. So, pause it. Okay. So after you trim all that up, you're going to turn the pillowcase back right sides together. So like be the pillowcase inside out. Like that. Then you're going to make sure you poke all your corners out like that. Okay, and you're going to roll all your seams so they're as close as they can be to the very edge, like that. And you're going to go back in and you're going to do a stitch 5/8 of an inch all the way around, pivoting at the corner. And what that does is it encases the seam. Let me show you how that works. So we're going to bite a little more of the seam allowance on this one, like that, so that you can make sure that the first seam you did is completely encased in the seam allowance so you don't see it on the wrong side. What this does is gives you the clean finish so that you don't have a pillow that frays during washing. And it stays nice and clean on the inside. And you know, this pillowcase is so nice that you could use either side of the pillowcase because there's no raw edges in this seam. Okay, so we did the French seam, sewing it down, giving a big hefty seam allowance there, which means it's all clean on the inside. So when you turn around the pillowcase, it is the size you want, and it's all clean finished both inside and out. Cut a thread there. And what that seam, there's no raw edges. These pillowcases are really great to make. I learned this method from 1 Million Pillowcases, which donates pillowcases to people in shelters and and people in nursing homes and children's hospitals to brighten up their day. They can really brighten up your day too because there's so many fun different things you can play with them. You can add all different fabrics and different colors. All you need is a yard of fabric, 1/4 yard for the header, 3/4 for the body. You make all different designs. This is for my niece. This is for my sister. She doesn't know it yet, but she's into cardinals. I highly recommend you do this and enjoy having fun. They take about 5 minutes to make, and it's totally great. This is Sherry from Super Exhausted, and thank you for tuning in today, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.